After trading away Pascal Siakam, the Toronto Raptors have firmly committed to Scottie Barnes as the centerpiece of the franchise going forward, but some fans feel as though he's not quite ready to step into this role, and with a recent dip in performances, should you really start to get worried? Let's get into it. This is Amateur Sports, the YouTube channel completely dedicated to providing you with Toronto Raptors content, whether it be in videos like this or live stream watch parties for Raptors games. If you like what you see from today's video, make sure you have hit that like button. Let's try to get to 200 plus likes again on today's video, and if you do feel so inclined, for more Raptors content like this, keep up to date by subscribing to the channel and helping us on the road to 17,000 subscribers. But in the recent weeks, I've seen a lot more Scottie Barnes criticism than I expected to see. Certainly a lot more than I've seen in previous times here. Scottie Barnes emerged as an outstanding player so far this season, so outstanding that it made Masai Ujiri commit to him as a centerpiece of the franchise going forward. Now, a lot of questions were made about the Raptors being a little bit too patient overall with this team and trying to rebuild and getting into this phase of reset. Finally, we've hit the reset button. Finally, the Raptors are getting into this rebuild phase around Scottie Barnes. But perhaps the reason they waited so long here, at least this is what Masai Ujiri said in his press conference after trading away Pascal Siakam, was they weren't sure about the Scottie Barnes jump this season. They weren't sure about his abilities, so they didn't want to overstep here, put all their eggs in the same basket here with Scottie Barnes and trade away Pascal Siakam in the offseason. But having seen the evidence of the outrageous season that Scottie Barnes is having so far with the Raptors, they felt confident enough to trade Siakam and back Scottie Barnes as the face of this team, and potentially, as Darko Rajakovic said in one of his press conferences, that major rant after the Lakers game, perhaps eventually the face of the league. I'm not sure if I'm going to go that far with the player, but it's clear that Scottie Barnes is having an outstanding season and is showcasing more than enough to suggest that, yes, he can be the leader for this team. I mean, just take a look at these statistics so far this season. Scottie Barnes is averaging over 20 points per game, a career high, with 8.4 rebounds per game, also a career high, 5.7 assists per game, also a career high, with 48% shooting from the field, which actually isn't quite a career high. He was more efficient in his first season with the Raptors in terms of field goal percentage, but why field goal percentage isn't the most important stat is because, well, when you look at Scottie Barnes' three-point percentage, he has shot that up to 36.7% shooting from three, and right now Scottie Barnes is actually taking on 5.5 attempts per game rather than the 2.6 attempts per game from three he had in his rookie season and the 2.9 attempts per game from three he had in his sophomore season. So yes, field goal percentage is down, but if you actually look at the effective field goal percentages, the true shooting percentages, they have been outrageously better for Scottie Barnes in his third season. So Scottie Barnes has been spectacular. So why all of a sudden are we seeing criticism coming out from Raptors fans? I've seen them in comment sections. I've seen them on Twitter. I've seen them in the chat section of my live stream watch parties for Raptors games. Fans are starting to get maybe a little bit nervous about Scottie Barnes' ability to be the centerpiece of this team going forward. They never really doubted Scottie Barnes' ability as a whole, perhaps, but they perhaps doubt his ability to be the centerpiece of the team, at least right now. But even some fans are going as far as to say that Scottie Barnes will never be the focal point or the number one option for this team, and they should not have committed to him as being the number one option on this team. So in the recent stretches of games, I mean, Scottie Barnes, like if you're being really critical, maybe we've seen a slight dip in performances recently, but I think there's a lot of factors that we can attribute to this happening here. Number one is there is a big swing with the roster right now. OG Anunoby was traded. That was a massive change to the roster and the way things were being played out here, especially on the defensive end. Scottie Barnes getting tasked with much more difficult matchups now that OG Anunoby is not there to handle it himself. And also, Pascal Siakam is gone. Like the primary focal point of the Raptors offensively is what should have been the focal point, the best offensive player on the team at the time. Pascal Siakam has been traded. New players are coming into the team. The overall quality of the team is slightly diminishing. And even still, Scottie Barnes is still putting up fine displays. He had an outrageous game last week against the Chicago Bulls, albeit in a losing effort, but that was just a crazy game, especially a crazy second half from Scottie Barnes in general. So maybe we're going a little bit too far with the criticism for Scottie Barnes' play. Now, where some criticism where I can kind of push back is the on-court attitude at time has been a bit of an issue. Like, the intangibles are clearly outstanding for Barnes, but like the head down stuff, the turning it over, that running it back stuff, I'm sure these are some things that can be corrected and will be corrected, but if like we're going to be very nitpicky, that would be the one qualm I have with Scottie Barnes' performances as of late. But as far as the statistical output, the game-to-game output in terms of playing winning basketball, Scottie Barnes has been terrific. So the conversation around Scottie Barnes not really being ready to be that centerpiece option, or he'll never be that first option going forward, I mean, there are some humongous pushbacks that we can have to those arguments, and just to showcase how absolutely ludicrous they are. The fact that you're even having these conversations about Scottie Barnes, whether or not he can be the first option, whether or not he can be the centerpiece, that's all the evidence you need to have to showcase that he can be that guy right now, and the Raptors should give him the opportunity to try and be the number one guy. Scottie Barnes is 22 years old. He is 2 years younger than I am. The fact that there's even any sort of considerations into him being a centerpiece of a team going forward at 22 years old is more than enough to suggest, hey, let's see what this looks like here. We'll never find out if he can truly be that number one option without actually giving him the opportunity to do so. And given the turmoil around the team with contracts, with OG Anunoby's contract set to expire at the end of the season, Siakam's contract set to expire at the end of the season, the Raptors did not want to run the risk of losing those players for nothing. So instead, they reset the team, find a few assets that cater to Scottie Barnes' strengths a little bit more, specifically with Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett looking like a fantastic player coming to the team right now. A lot of draft compensation the Raptors have acquired here to try and find pieces that work around Scottie Barnes. And oh hey, the 13th overall pick the Raptors just got, who seems to be starting to find his feet in the NBA, Grady Dick, is also an outstanding fit next to Scottie Barnes, and they really want to see what Scottie Barnes can do as the first option going forward. Now, where there can be some struggles this season is now Scottie Barnes also in the focal point of the offense. The entire defensive mindset, or a lot of the defensive mindset, and a lot more of the defensive game plan for the opposition is now focusing on Scottie Barnes without having to worry about Pascal Siakam and perhaps to a certain degree OG Anunoby. These are some certain things that he's going to have to start navigating for sure, but at 22 years old, this is a real great opportunity for him to showcase himself. And if it doesn't really work out for the rest of this season, for the just under 40 games remaining, he's 22. He's still on his rookie contract. He's going to get his rookie max at the end of the season, 100%, but he's still on his rookie contract. He's still just 22 years old. Like, there is a lot of reason to be patient here, Raptors fans, and there's no need to jump to these outrageous conclusions about the player. For what reason could he not be the focal point of a team going forward? He is a do-it-all star player in his third season. If the Raptors weren't 12 games under 500, he would be an all-star this season. Like, these statistics are outrageous, and people worried about Scottie Barnes' development. Like, sure, the handle isn't as tight as it could be right now, but have you seen the jump in his three-point percentage? This is a player keen on working on his own game and getting better. Like, people worried about his development here. Scottie Barnes is going to be a finalist for MIP this season. Like, the statistics I showed you early on, like, can we talk about the jump from these statistics here? He's gone from 15 points per game to 20 points per game. He's taken his field goal percentage from 46 to 48. His three-point percentage, shooting almost 3 more three-pointers a game. His percentage has gone from 28 up to 37. His rebounds have gone from 6.6 to 8.4 right now. His assists have gone from 4.8 to 5.7. Like, the development. Why is there any reason for concern here at all? Scottie Barnes is a do-it-all star player at 22 years old and is already showcasing some signs of being the centerpiece of the franchise moving forward. He's been committed to it as such, and he's been given the reins to go and do it. Like, the best way to teach a guy how to be the number one option when you don't have that good of a team to work with, like, what are we really trying to accomplish this season? Like, if they make the play-in, okay, great. Like, maybe they make the playoffs and run into the Boston Celtics in the first round of playoffs. Like, that's a possibility, sure. And the playoff experience would be nice for this team, especially with no first-round pick to confidently fall back on. But the Raptors are under the Memphis Grizzlies right now. They could fall into the bottom six. They could use their draft pick this season. All of these things are possible here. But what are the Raptors playing for that is scaring people away from seeing what this looks like for almost 40 games of Scottie Barnes as the number one guy? How does he respond? How does he react? And the fact that there might be a little bit of an adjustment phase to that with him dealing with this new defensive schemes against him, with all the new players around him. What are Raptors fans really worried about here with Scottie Barnes? And as I was saying, the best way to see what it looks like given this situation is to throw him into that and see just how good he can look. Like when he came into his rookie season, he appeared as though a player who's not quite NBA ready, who had a lot of work to do to be one of the more focal points of the roster. People wondering if he'd be in a sixth man out the gates. Some people wondering when he was a rookie if he would be even playing with the 905 a little bit. He came into the season, started every game, was outrageous, won Rookie of the Year. So he's consistently surprising people. He's consistently punching above what the expectations seem to be of him. And he has always met those expectations. Sure, along the way, there's going to be some things like, okay, the head down stuff. Sure, there's going to be some things like, okay, the three-point ball wasn't as great as we wanted it to be last season and this season. The handles aren't quite as tight as we want it to be. But every indication that Scottie Barnes is on his way to superstardom in this league. And that is not selling him short. He would have been an all-star this season if the Raptors had a good enough record. And honestly, he could still wind up being an all-star if he gets enough love from coaches and players and media members around the league. Scottie Barnes still has the capability of actually getting into the all-star team. So any sort of concern here, it just feels like purposely people trying to be contrarian. He is 22 years old. He is already so unbelievably skilled and talented for his age. What is the real downside right now of finding out what it looks like with him as the first option? As far as down the line, what is he missing? What is he missing that people are so worried about what he looks like down the line? There is really nothing he can't do on offense, and there's nothing that he can't work on. Anything that's kind of good and not great, there's no reason why he can't improve on these things and take his game to an even greater level. Scottie Barnes, in his third season, already a Rookie of the Year, already in All-Star considerations. And though he probably won't beat out Maxey for that MIP award, probably wouldn't beat out Alperen Şengün either, he is still going to be in the mix for that award and its consideration. So Scottie Barnes is outstanding, has taken a massive jump, can continue to improve his game and fine-tune his game, and the Raptors right now are giving him all the tools to succeed. There is no reason why Raptors fans should not be extraordinarily excited about the future prospects of this player and what the team can look like in a few years. It's going to be a process for him and for the team. We know that the team is in a real bad position right now as far as win-losses are concerned, but the future does look bright. And the reason it does look as bright as it is because Scottie Barnes is a member of the Toronto Raptors. This is an incredible player to have on your team. Stop trying to find reasons to be upset and hate it. He's a phenomenal player. Let's see how far he can take this group. What do you make of this whole Scottie Barnes situation? Do you think he can be a number one option on your team going forward for success and possible failures in the future? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, because that's it for me for today. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to Amateur Sports for more content like this, and check out our sportsbook partner, the Bet99 Sportsbook, with the link in the description. Sign up through my affiliate link and tail my special Amateur Sports Bet99 banger bet on Sunday as the Raptors take on the Atlanta Hawks. I'll see you again next time for another video.